proto-shanty. Mary Wheeler was a woman, grew up in Illinois on the Ohio River, turn of the century. And she used to hear the black roustabouts, the guys working on the river, on the river boats, singing songs as they did labor. And she went back later in her adulthood and talked to some of the guys and tried to remember as best she could. And she wrote a book called Steamboating Days, which has a whole bunch of these roustabout songs. It's the same thing, really. It's black folks in America and the American culture using what they know how to do to ease their load. So I think this is just carrying heavy things, maybe up a gangway. We just need a steady beat. Been all around this whole round world, been all around this whole round world, been all around this whole round world, looking for my brown skin Creole girl. Feet was bare and her eyes was green, babe. Feet was bare and her eyes was green, babe. Her feet was bare and her eyes was green. Met her down in New Orleans, babe. And been all around this whole wide world, babe. Been all around this whole round world, babe. Been all around this whole round world, looking for a brown skin Creole girl, babe. Her eyes was green and her dress was red, babe. Her eyes was green, dress was red, babe. Her eyes was green and her dress was red. Said my love went to her head, babe. Ready to try it? Been all around this whole round world, babe. Been all around this whole round world, babe. Been all around this whole round world, looking for a brown skin Creole girl, babe. Roustabout ain't got no home, babe. Roustabout ain't got no home, babe. Roustabout ain't got no home. Make his living on the shoulder bone, babe. And been all around this whole wide world, babe. I've been all around this whole wide world, babe. Been all around this whole wide world, looking for a brown skin Creole girl, babe. Whatever makes your job easier. If it's mesmeric and keeps on going for an hour and a half, even all the better. Best example I've ever heard was Alan Lomax made a recording in 1947 in Parchment Farm, Mississippi, of these black guys cutting down trees. The guy had an axe on each side of the tree, whacking at that tree. And they could go all day, all day. And one of the guys was actually singing while he was working. I work a lot with kids in schools. I thought I'd do that myself one day. I took a big old log out there and I brought my axe and I was hacking away and singing the song. I got about halfway through one verse before I had to stop because I couldn't have any breath. So just listen to this. I think it's utterly stunning and it could go on all day, which in many cases it had been. Parchment Farm, Mississippi, 1947. I hate to believe it. Then you've got black gospel music, spirituals coming into the land, and I was just reading in Sinful Tunes and Spirituals about how up until 1800 there's really no religious training for black people. They didn't think it was a good idea to have them assemble. And it was too dangerous to have them in big groups. Besides, I think there was a sense of, they didn't have souls anyway, right? I mean, they're slaves, and they weren't real people, so they had no souls. So what's to try to save? But the Methodists would have none of that. And about 1800, the Methodists are sweeping through America, doing folk song revivals, doing camp meeting revivals, and getting people to sing together. And so nobody can really tell with black spirituals whether they're coming out of whole cloth African American experience, West Indian experience, or mixed in with the Anglo stuff coming out of Presbyterian Scotland and coming out of New England and Methodist singing from England. Nobody knows for sure. It's a great genre. I thought we'd do a couple of them. One of my favorite little songs, covered by Ruth Crawford Seeger. From Louisiana. Really a Christmas song, but I sing it all year round. She says, if anybody asks you who I am, tell them I'm a child of God. Simple. Effective. Anybody asks you who I am, who I am, who I am. Anybody asks you who I am, tell them I'm a child of God. Little cradle rocks tonight in glory, tonight in glory, tonight in glory. Little cradle rocks tonight in glory, tell them I'm a child of God. Anybody asks you who I am, who I am, who I am. Anybody asks you who I am, tell them I'm a child of God. You can talk about me just as much as you please, much as you please, just as much as you please. Talk about me just as much as you please, but tell them I'm a child of God. Anybody asks? Anybody asks you who I am, who I am, who I am. Anybody asks you who I am, tell them I'm a child of God. Don't you hear that foot on the treetop, foot on the treetop, foot on the treetop? Don't you hear that foot on the treetop, tell them I'm a child of God. Anybody asks? Anybody asks you who I am, who I am, who I am. means either.
Great line.
But what a great line, you
What a
know?
great
It's-
line.
We were just talking at supper about what is it about this old music that can be so compelling? And stuff like that. It's a little almost magic of these things that come down. Maybe it's mishearing of foreign language. Maybe it's just not hearing what your mate said and then you repeat as best you can. Maybe somebody has a vision. Maybe there's an image in somebody's brain that's what the way it conveyed. But somehow the joy of that, I love it. Yes, sir.
Why did you associate that song with Christmas?
Little Cradle Rocks Tonight in Glory. And also, I think Ruth Crawford Seeger put it in her American Christmas songs. American Christmas songs. We're all struggling to find great Christmas songs. How about, my folks, Ann and Frank Warner, got the bug in the 1930s, before I was born, to try to go around rural eastern United States and see if there were still pockets of places where people didn't have electricity. Maybe had not learned their songs from radio, but had learned, or records, but had learned them from neighbors and grandparents. And they were very lucky to find a whole bunch of people who were exactly like that. So I grew up with this stuff, hearing my father talk to other people about the people that he had met.